Welcome to Chad the Homecare Guy. Real conversations about aging, home care, and the decisions families face every day. Hosted by Chad Fisher, founder of Avail Home Care. Because caring for the people you love shouldn't be confusing. Let's get started.
All right, guys. Hey, this is Chad, the Home Care Guy with Avail Home Care. Back to you today, Chad, the Home Care Guy podcast. And today I'm with a friend of mine, Cathy Blair with KRB Moving. And is it Move Management?
It is.
So this is okay, KRB Move Management. And I've known her for probably the whole time we've been in business. So going on 9 years for us, 8-9 years, and you're going on 10.
Starting our 10th. Yeah.
Starting your 10.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know.
Crazy.
It is.
So here's how we start. I always ask everybody where they're from, a little bit about yourself, and how you got here, how you got into this industry.
Yes. So I'm from Chicago, and we lived in a home there for 24 years, and we moved down here. But prior to that, I moved my mom into a senior living community. I moved my in-laws out of their homes into their next step, senior living community. And with my father-in-law, helped him clean out. And so when we relocated, I found how much I really enjoyed the moving process.
Really?
Yeah, I
say that.
I know. It's kind of crazy, but I find it really exhilarating when you lighten up and let go. So
Yeah.
I was working in University Advancement in Gainesville, and I was with a group of women. It was election day. It was a very monumental day. We were sitting around having dinner together, and someone said, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I was like, I think I would move people. And one of my colleagues said, oh my gosh, my aunt moved into a senior living community, and this group came in and they packed her up and they moved her and they unpacked her, and it was like magic, you know?
Really?
And yeah, so she said that. So the next day I kind of Googled senior moving. I'm like, what? And I found the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And I did some intro stuff, some courses, and I was like, I think this could be really exciting.
Yeah.
So that's how I found it. The irony of it all is the Gainesville friend who is at dinner at my house that night who told me about this field also does this now.
Really?
She retired from the University of Florida. I was at the University of Florida at the time. She retired and she started a senior move management business in 2018. So 2 years beyond us. So it's pretty cool. She's a very close colleague now, and we're both doing the same work.
And she's still up in Gainesville doing that?
She is. So we get together, a group of senior move managers, we get together annually and kind of talk. But it's kind of, I really give her credit for how I found this field.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Story. Many people think moving is just packing boxes. What does a move management company actually do?
Well, that's a really good question. We were just talking about this. I've been doing one-on-ones with all my team, and we decided that it's like we're social workers.
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of, emotional struggles that go on during the moving process. It's the top 3 most stressful event: divorce, death, and moving. Number 3. So we help with the hand-holding. We help them figure out what's going to the new home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions to be made. So it's the compassion is the big piece.
Yeah.
It's not just moving. And then, of course, the other end is glorious because we unpack, we put it all away on the shelves, and it's like an HGTV moment.
Right. Yeah.
It is.
I'm sure people walk in and they never thought that it could look like that again.
No.
Or downsizing what they've had.
Yes.
Never thought it could look like it does when they move in. And most people are moving out of a certain square footage.
Correct.
And then into something much smaller. So you've got to kind of understand that as well.
Right. Floor planning is a huge piece of what we do. We kind of look at the space they're moving at. We look at the front. I was just with a customer yesterday, 91 years old, and has lived in this beautiful, oceanfront, bayfront condo. And she said, I'm ready, and I've already kind of thought about what I want to take.
Yeah.
But our role is to say, you know what, instead of taking that, why don't you consider taking this? Because, we look at, are they using walkers? Are they, in a wheelchair? Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Downsizing is probably one of the hardest things for people to let go and do. And I think that's most Americans probably feel that way because we are in that society of excess.
It is.
Everything's at our fingertips with Amazon, and you probably get tons of people that are retired who purchase on Amazon and those things all day long. So they've got boxes of things always coming.
You got it.
You can't take all that stuff.
No, you can't.
So.
And it's interesting. I just did a downsizing presentation at a community earlier this week, and I use a Wall Street Journal article that shows from 1994 to 2024, the trajectory of things that we own.
Yeah.
And it's 5.5 times the housewares. It's, and the other part of this Wall Street article I found fascinating is 80% of the storage in the world is in the United States.
Is it really?
Yeah. And people, I mean, you look around and it's either car washes or storage units that are popping up all around us.
Yeah.
People are buying, they have no place for things.
Yep.
And the other thing I found fascinating is 500 square feet of a person's world is spent in storage, which is often their garage. So many people do not park their cars in garages because it's filled with stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I see that down here a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I find it fascinating. I mean, just the trajectory of, and then now we have to make a decision about going to a smaller space and what is it that we take, right?
Yeah, that's really tough. Yeah. Why are senior moves so emotionally different from a traditional family move?
Yeah. It's letting go.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And also just, the clutter that's collected. The other part of that article that I'll mention is that most people repurchase items that they already own because they can't find them. So that's one of the glorious things about it.
I've done that too.
We've all done that.
I should probably go in my garage after this and start looking around.
I know. No, but senior moves are hardest because a lot of people know it's their final transition. So that's the hardest part.
Yeah. What are the biggest mistakes families make when helping aging parents move?
I think empowering the individual. I always talk to the individual who's moving, even though family's involved, because they're the ones in transition. And I think families sometimes feel like they need to be the boss.
Yeah.
And I think they need to honor their parents. So we see a lot of family dynamics.
Yeah. I think that's big with me too. Just so you guys know, I'll tell you a little backstory that, my mom was displaced during the storm and I gave your number to her. I said, call her up. You need to make a move. This is who you're going to use. So it was the best experience that she's ever had. They came in and during a very stressful time, they came in and packed everything up and moved her to a different condo upstairs.
Yeah.
And she had a couple of moves.
We did.
She actually had to move up there. And that place was being rented or the people were coming back. So we had to find another place. She was out over a year. It was like 14, 15, 16 months.
Yeah.
But you guys were amazing.
Thank you.
And she will always be indebted to you guys for that. So will I.
Oh, thank you. We love Beverly, by the way.
It was
She's delightful.
process to go through the whole and to hear it from her, how well you guys did this.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
She's great.
Yeah,
she was great.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was the hurricane has really, really put a strain on a lot of our seniors. And losing, I call it involuntary downsizing.
Yeah.
It's been bad.
Yeah. How do you help families who feel overwhelmed by downsizing decades of memories?
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to do that?
So I ask them to prioritize what's most important to them.
Okay.
And then I always say that the space informs your decisions.
Okay.
So we have, I live in 900 square feet. So say we have 900 square feet to work with. So let's prioritize the items that are most important to you. How do you want to live? How do you live? How do you want to live? And then what's fascinating is we say, all your stuff is still here. I don't turn over to estate sale right away. I say, give yourself a week or two after the move. Everything is still here. Let's get you over with what you've prioritized. And then we can make decisions if we need to bring a few things back
and forth.
Fascinating.
Like
they rarely do.
Really?
Once they get to the new space and it's lightened up and it's functional and they see their most important things, what they realize is they really don't need all the rest of that. And that's when we bring in the other man you've interviewed, Joe. And, we bring in an estate sale person who then takes it from there. And quite honestly, very rarely will someone say, I wish I had taken my blah, 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 because we've helped them kind of through the decision-making process. Downsizing is very interesting because we also, we'll take everything out, set it all up. We've sorted things like things. How many measuring cups do you need?
Right.
How many do you really need?
Yeah. I think I probably have way too many measuring cups, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, we have at one point until we moved into 900 square feet.
What signs tell a family it may be time to consider moving a loved one to a safer living?
Yes, I know. So tragically, what usually prompts a move into senior living is some type of crisis, medical crisis. We always encourage, again, I just did this downsizing presentation and I talk about start early. with this downsizing process. Start making decisions early so that you can you can discern what's going versus having to make that decision when it's forced upon you. So
crisis is always
it is,
the hardest part to deal with.
Yeah, it is. So that's what we see most often is we get a call saying, I've seen this downward spiral with my mom and dad and that they can no longer live in this home with this pool and the roof and the landscaping and all. And we need to downsize at that point. But it's always, I think, a happy occasion when someone calls and says, I've decided I want to lighten up my life and I'm going to simplify now.
Yeah.
Because I think we hear more often than not, I wish I had done it sooner.
Yeah.
When I could have enjoyed it.
I agree.
Yeah.
We rarely ever get the calls to Avail of someone saying, hey, I'm planning ahead and I'd like to set myself up with a home care company just for the future.
Right. Interview now.
Rarely ever happens.
Yeah.
Ironically, there's a longtime friend of mine when I was in the classic car business. I worked on several of his cars, BMW, and he called me out of the blue last week. And he said, my wife's got dementia. They're in Dunedin.
Okay.
I don't think he'll ever move. He doesn't ever want to.
Okay.
But he said, I'd like to get an appointment with you just to sit down for the future. And I thought, I should record this.
Exactly.
Because this never happens. But how cool is that he's thinking that way? And I wish more people did.
Well, I think you're right. I think you're right. And it's interesting because I don't know if you're seeing this, but we're kind of seeing a generational shift now where we're seeing more baby boomers who are being proactive and they want to take their funds and they want to get into a place where maybe a CCRC, continuing care retirement community, so that they don't have to burden their family or actually have them make these decisions. And I think that is amazing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a different customer going forward.
I agree. Can you share a story? A move improves someone's quality of life, and that's going to be every story.
Every move. Yes. Every one.
We just kind of talked about my mom on that one.
Yes.
So recent ones where it's been a major change.
Just about every move we do. I mean, they're like, oh my gosh, this was the most. So I just put some testimonials together yesterday, and I think that they are amazed actually at what happens on the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I explain what we do, the sorting, the packing, the floor planning. We coordinate the mover, we unpack and settle. I explain all that in the consult. But until they see the end result, I don't think they really get the value. And just sometimes people are like, oh, it's the estimate. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe we can do that. And then at the end, it's like, oh my gosh, that was worth every single penny. So let's think of someone recently. Okay. So person living in a downtown St. Pete condo. She was original to that condo. So the view was spectacular. And she said, I think my son lives out of town and I think I should go ahead and make this move. And she was nervous, scared. And she also had incredible art, like big, her son was an artist, her husband was an artist, incredible art. And we were able to choose the art. And then we talked to the community about taking some of the art so she could see it. And she moved into a community that did not have a view, and she was a little concerned. And she is thriving. She loves it. Yeah, I mean, they meet friends.
That's gonna be a tough one.
It is, and the isolation. I think that we saw this a lot during 2020. I'm sure you did too. Yeah. People deteriorated because they weren't having the social interaction.
Absolutely.
And living in a community. We've seen two things: nutrition and socialization that just completely elevate them.
Yeah. You could have the most beautiful view in the world, but if you're not going outside of that view, then you're going to start to deteriorate.
Exactly. Yeah. And their brains, they're all of a sudden they're engaged. Now, to speak to Avail, and we also do aging in place.
Yes.
And we've had some really great, responses to make, people right sizing.
Right.
And then also making the accommodations needed to stay in their home with care.
Is that what you call it? Right sizing?
Right sizing. Because you can right size any time of your life.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
It's like going through, what do I need? What do I need in this space? I have a STAIR acronym, which is sort, thin, assign, identify, and reinforce. STAIR, the letters of STAIR. Okay. So once you've identified what you need, where it will live, and then reinforce, identify, maybe put a label on it, and then reinforcing that so that things stay. And then when something comes in, something goes out. So right sizing can happen anytime. And I think, again, with this new generation, more and more people want to stay in their homes.
Yeah.
They want to make those accommodations and they want to do it with care instead of moving into a community.
Yeah.
So I think that's another
And I think communities are not, from what I've read, communities aren't being built fast enough. So the rooms aren't available for the amount of baby boomers we have.
Yeah.
I think some people are, it's good that they want to stay because I don't think that there's enough room for everybody yet.
Right.
And places being built.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to continue to be that way for quite some time. We just can't build fast enough.
No.
So to be able to stay there and write somebody,
yes.
I think it's the smart way to go.
Right. Right. So I think we're going to see more of people living like Golden Girls.
Yes.
Living
I've been
with
saying that for years now.
Right? Have you been saying that? I don't know. Okay. I don't think I've heard you say that. But I see that kind of, we just moved a couple like that who had people, they have a little house out in the backyard and people are living together and they'll share home care and they'll share chefs and they'll share.
Smart.
It's so really smart. And the social is built in,
No, so. What advice would you give adult children struggling to have the conversation with a resistant parent?
Well, I think giving them permission, I think a lot of seniors struggle because they don't want to disrupt their adult children's lives and they don't want to spend what might be their inheritance.
I think that's a big one.
And so they feel like they need to protect the inheritance. And I think giving your parents permission to just make themselves happy is huge. And also again, I mentioned it earlier, but kind of treat them, even if they have cognitive decline, with respect during the process.
I think finances are one of the major motivators that we see even in home care. People will really start to look at what they have, what vehicles they're in and how it grows, and then what that's going to look like over time. I see a lot of people that can afford home care that really need it.
Yeah.
And they won't do it for themselves. And it's sad because they can afford it, but they're just so scared that it won't last.
Right.
So that their money won't last. So it is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
If listeners remember one thing about helping an aging loved one transition, what would you want it to be? KRB.
Well, I do say you're not alone. Yes, I do say you're not alone. I think that sometimes people feel like they have to do it all themselves. And I always say, there's a lot of us out in the world. There's realtors, there's KRB Senior Move Managers, professional organizers, estate people. All of us are partners in this process. You do not have to do this alone. I've seen so many relatives say, I have a meeting this week. I'm flying in from New York to meet with you and the realtor, and I have to fly back that night because my life is busy.
Yeah.
I said to her, we're here to help. How can we make this easier for you?
Yeah.
Especially in this world that we live in now where people are so separate. How lucky you are to have your mom local, but a lot of people do not.
Absolutely. It's funny and interesting too, is that we all know each other.
Yeah.
And we take that for granted, I think, sometimes because we go to these marketing meetings. We're always around each other as far as the helping hands. But from an outsider who's looking for it, a lot of times they don't know all of us exist and know each other and can help. And so it's usually amazing when I get on the phone with somebody and I say, this is what you're needing. Maybe we're not the fit for you.
Exactly.
But let me go ahead and I'll connect you with Cathy. Or you need this and I can connect you with them. Or, and they're like, how? How do you know that? I'm like, we all know each other.
We know each other.
This is what we do.
Exactly.
Take advantage of it.
And for
really should take advantage of it.
And I always the presentation I did earlier this week, someone's like, well, can you tell me and I said, well, I want to come in and meet with you. I do a complimentary consultation. I look around.
Yep.
If I think they need home care, if I think they need just a mover and they don't need us, I don't feel like it's time wasted.
Right.
It's absolutely not time wasted. But yes, I think the biggest thing we can offer is resources.
I do too. It's amazing.
Because when we're done, someone else can step in.
Yep.
Just like the realtor comes in after us, the estate sale person comes in after us.
Yep.
Maybe they don't want to leave their home and you guys come in and we're out. It's just, I think all of us feel like we want the best result.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, thank you for being on the show today. This has been great. One last thing, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you.
You can call us at 727-474-5547. We have an ops manager, Elaine Hanrahan, who's amazing, who is there 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. You can always find us on the website, krbmovemanagement.com. Drop us an email. There's a contact box right there on the website.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you. And as you know, I've got a personal story with her, so I'm definitely in love with her service and everything they've done. It's been fantastic for my family, and it could be that way for your family as well. So again, like, share, follow, subscribe. The only way to get this out to everybody is if you guys actually share this with people that you know. All right. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Thank you.